Alhamdulillah wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Inshallah, we're going to go ahead and get started on the next class for today, which is the Hadith class. And for the Hadith class, we completed the collection of Riyadh al-Salihin. It took us a year to do that. And so now what I would like to do is start another set of Hadiths. And these are known as the Muwatta Hadiths. And for those of you who don't know, which most Muslims don't know here in America, because Americans are ignorant of Islam, really, the Muwatta Hadiths are the most authentic Hadiths on earth. They're more authentic than even Bukhari and Muslim. Okay, and in fact, most of the hadiths in Muwatta can be found in Bukhari and Muslim, because both Imam Muslim and Imam Bukhari included these hadiths into their collections because of their authenticity. So we're going to be studying from the Muwatta hadiths, and what makes these hadiths so authentic is that they come directly from the companions themselves. These hadiths are taken directly from the mouth of the companions themselves, and these were the companions that were with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. Okay, and many of the scholars consider the Muwatta book to be the most authentic book on earth after the Quran. That's how authentic this book is, because again, these hadiths were taken directly from the companions themselves after the Prophet's death. Let's go ahead and get started. And by the way, you can find this book on our website, in the website library. If you go to the sunnahfollowers.net index3.html and click on website library, you'll find the Muwatta collection there, so you can study at home as well. Okay, so with that said and done, let's go ahead and get started. And this first chapter addresses the times of the prayer. The times of the prayer. And you will find this, this will be beneficial, inshallah, to many of you here who are new to Islam. It helps you to understand the time of the prayer or whatnot. And when you read these hadiths, you can see how these hadiths are taken directly. They're coming directly from the companions about what they heard the Prophet say directly or whatnot. So let's look at the first hadith here. A lot of people ask the question, how did the time of prayers? First of all, let me explain something to you guys. You know, I tell you guys all the time that you cannot teach yourself Islam. You have to learn Islam from the people of knowledge. And this was the same for our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet Muhammad did not teach himself Islam. He learned Islam directly from the angel Jibril. Even the way to pray, when Allah ordained for us to pray to Him 5 times a day, the angel Jibril came down and showed the Prophet how to pray. So everything that the Prophet learned, he learned from Jibril, and in turn he taught it to the companions, and in turn they taught it to theirs, and so on, and so on, and this is how we have Islam. So the time of the prayers, how did the time of the prayers come about? The time of the prayers were taught to the Prophet by Jibril, okay? And you look at this hadith here, and this hadith explains that. It explains how the prayer came down. Some of the companions had delayed the prayer one day, and one of the companions asked the one who delayed it, "Why did you delay?" And he said, "Don't you know that the angel Jibril came down and prayed And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed, and then he prayed again, and the Prophet prayed again, and he prayed again, and the Prophet prayed, and again and again. And then Jibril said, this is what you have been ordered to do. So here you can see that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he learned how to pray from the angel Jibril. Okay? So this is something that we need to remember. Jibril alayhi salam was the one who taught the Prophet how to pray. Okay? Let's look at the next hadith. Aisha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said that the Prophet used to pray Asr while the sunlight was pouring into her room, before the sun itself had become visible. So here we can see the time for Salatul Asr, guys. This is the time for Salatul Asr, okay? You know, Asr is made, okay, before the sun sets, of course, and it's the middle prayer. It's made in the middle of the day. Now, some of you guys, for those of you who are married to Arabic men, depending on what part of the world they come from, some people use the word sub, the word suba, the word suba, and the word fajr. They are the same thing. So let's look at this second hadith here. A man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked him about the time of the Fajr prayer. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not answer him. But in the morning he prayed it at the first light. And the next morning he prayed it when it was much lighter. And then he said, where is the man who was asking me about the time of this prayer? He said, the time is between these two. So in other words, Fajr prayer. Fajr prayer is the dawn prayer. It's the early morning or the dawn prayer. And you pray Fajr from dawn until you have up until sunrise to pray the Fajr prayer. From dawn until sunrise. So Fajr prayer is from dawn until sunrise. Okay? Let's look at the next hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray the Fajr, and the women would leave wrapped in their garments, and they could not yet be recognized in the darkness. So again, this hadith shows the time of this Fajr prayer. In Fajr prayer is prayed before the sun rises, so much so that the women could leave and you couldn't even tell that they were wrapped up, because it was still dark outside. So all of these hadiths are showing the time of the Fajr prayer. Let's look at the next hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever manages to make one rakat of Fajr before the sun has risen has prayed it in time. And whoever manages to do one rakat of the Asr prayer before the sun has set has done it in time. So anyway, here you can see that even if you perform one rakat before the sun rises, you have made Fajr on time. So again, you have all the way from dawn until sunrise to pray the Fajr prayer. If you get one rakat in and the sun rises after that, you've made the prayer. You've caught the prayer. Okay. Let's look at the next hadith. When Umar was the caliphate, this is after the Prophet had died, and of course Abu Bakr had died, Umar became the second caliphate over the Muslims. And when he was the caliphate, he wrote to his governors in all the other Islamic provinces, and he told them, the most important of your affairs, in my opinion, is the prayer. Whoever protects it and observes it carefully is protected